Good morning, everybody. So today's video topic, I don't know if it's what do we have to lose, what do I have to lose, or fighting depression. I'm coming to you. I don't think I've made a video in probably about 7 months now. And a lot has changed, but at the same time, not a lot has changed. The main thing that has changed in my life is I no longer have my kids with me. I was been in a court battle for almost a year now, fighting to keep my kids in my life. And ultimately I lost that. And now they live thousands of miles away from me. And I'm limited to a video conversation with them, which is, if you know me, I'm just not a person that goes and has an authentic relationship. Well, it can be authentic, but it lacks all the depth. It's kind of like when you have a text message conversation with someone, it filters out all the feelings and the substance. And that's what's happened with my kids. I used to be, or I am, very active with them in sports and coaching and taking them places, doing things with them. And now as of right now, it's playing video games with them online, which I did before, but it was sprinkled in here and there, more as downtime for us. What else has changed? I seem to be shedding relationships in my life that ultimately must not be. We're not of the service of the highest good. That includes the church I was going to. I stepped away from. New pastor and his family. Very good at theology, but has a long way to go in leadership. And I quickly saw that I was going to be bumping heads. In short, had been called there to help grow a school for, almost 6 years now. And I don't know what God's plan is for me there. But I'd been going there for so long, trying to fight to have a school started there. And they hired a new pastor and his wife, and they came in. And they started a school, which I was super excited to be about. But I was just chasing everything. Didn't know what was going on. Wasn't included in conversations. But at the same time being asked a lot of, because I was volunteering a lot of my time there. And then when I lost my kids, my life has been like, okay, I need to change my finances. I need to change my routine. I need to change things. Because finances was the main reason I lost my children. Even though my children were not in need, had everything they, clothing, food, love, shelter, warmth, great relationships, great experiences. And in all regards, they deserve a lot more than what I was giving them. They're such great boys. And so I'm going to use this opportunity to really change my life around and kick it into high gear. But in this, I'm like fighting this depression. I got to change topics a little. I don't want to start crying. I'm going to talk my way through it or work my way through it. I haven't been depressed in, as long as I can remember, almost probably until I was 16. I had a lot of trouble when I was about that age. Went to 4 high schools in 2 years and eventually just dropped out of high school and started going to college, actually. But I was very lost at the time. And then, and since then, I've actually been really, really quite well. Mentally, I like to say I'm very strong. And I suppose I know that's why I'm taking my own medicine, my own advice when it comes to fighting depression. And that is movement, staying busy, making myself do things, I work out a ton right now. I'm working out at night, working out in the mornings. And then in between, doing jiu-jitsu, working with kids. I just got hired on as a head cross-country coach, which the season starts next week. I love working with children. But in doing this, I'm just like I have this fire inside me to not only fight this depression, but turn this storm into something good and something rewarding for my children, my life, and ultimately everyone else that's going through a hard time fighting depression, or fathers that are separated from their sons. I feel men have a long way to go in this life, and it starts with me on this. You know, I reflect back on all my relationships, all of these things, and I really put the weight on my shoulders. It's up to me to be a certain way, and I feel like that's where I've been failing. It's not easy, even with self-awareness, having childhood traumas, and being aware of those childhood traumas, even when I was a child, doesn't make it, it makes it easier because I'm aware of it. I'm specifically, in this case, talking about a lack of a mother figure growing up and how it's caused many female relationship issues in my life. But what I can say is that I have been blessed with finding God in my last fall from grace, where after my divorce, I was starting a very successful business. That was a lot of fun. I was meeting amazing people, super excited about life, had my boys, had my work. I just felt like I was on top of life and just taking off. And then I just lost that overnight. Literally just lost everything but my children overnight. And I was in basically a funk for not working, I'm not even really sure how I was surviving, to be honest, but I've been through a whole season of that. And this last year, I finally kind of started finding my way again, because I'm a person that knows to grow or appreciates growing things with other people. I value the relationships that I'm in and have, and I like doing things with others, all the way from building businesses to play. I get more joy out of sharing experiences than personally experiencing them. And it's just part of my archetype and who I am and my purpose. But it's not easy to meet people. When I'd lost everything, I had to start from nothing. And so I was kind of trying to adapt to do things with other people. And every time it was failing. To this day, it has failed. And so finally, God has been putting it on my shoulders of, John, you got to just carve your own path. You have to rely on Him, God, the work He has me doing, and just sharing my experience to find other people going through the same thing, maybe to be inspired or, fight in the right direction. Because no matter what, we're fighting a direction. We're either going the wrong way in life or the right way in life. And both are difficult. One is getting out of shape, depression, alcohol, drugs, tattoos, sex, you name it. And it's all good in the moment. But the moment passes. And then what you're standing left with is worse than what was before. The other way in life is focusing on your purpose, focusing on your relationships, and getting on not only a path that's in alignment with yourself, but ultimately I feel the right path will attract the right people, and everything else will shed away. People that are on their own path, let them find themselves, just like I was lost in many ways, and I still am lost on certain things. And I'll find my way when I'm meant to find it. Because what I've learned is God, if we don't strip away what that doesn't serve us, because we're not strong enough, that God will strip it away. And that's usually the most painful point, is when God strips it away. Because then you don't have any choice but to change. And I know He doesn't put anything on our shoulders that we can't carry. And He preps us. And He doesn't work in time frames. So for me, it's every day, one day at a time right now. Get up, get my fitness in. I'm gonna work on I think my aim is gonna be doing one YouTube video a week. Something that I can manage with my time, but be consistent with. There's a lot of other things I'm consistent with right now. Jiu-jitsu in the mornings at the park. So there's that. Consistent with rock climbing, consistent with fitness, consistent with coaching, consistent with working with kids. Consistency is what builds results. And then adapting to when the climate changes breeds life. We're almost to the top. You've been climbing Spencer Butte with me. So I don't expect this video to reach many. It's more meant for those that have followed this far, or possibly my own children, so that they see what I'm fighting for, that I'm still fighting to have them in my life, and that Dad is doing everything possible to improve our lives, so they don't suffer for the wrongdoing of everyone that has come before them. Because they don't deserve it. All children are innocent until we get parents that it's just a vicious cycle. I don't want to get into that right now, but and of course the invitation's open to anyone in the Eugene area looking for connection. I don't know how much longer I'll be here. I think I'll be bouncing around from here to other places now. As soon as I get, traction is going on the making money part, which is freeing me up to move around more. So I'll be traveling more. But wherever I'm at, people are always invited for the things that I make public. Here we are. This is another great spot I've known many people that have been fighting things in life. Depression, relationships, work. And they make the climbing this their daily routine. And it's really improved people's lives. And it's one place I always come back to, is climbing Spencer Butte. It's smoky here right now from the forest fires, but it's actually not that bad. So I think I'm gonna leave this video as this. If I have some B-roll of some stuff, I'll throw it in there. But I'll be back with more videos, updating people with more stuff. One of the main things that I'm really enjoying right now is I got into vibe coding and creating an online platform. And I'm really excited to share more of that because it's really opening my life up with a lot of people working with different farms. I really enjoy food, I enjoy farm life, I enjoy the quiet side of things. That's one of the reasons I have trouble with being online, is because it becomes, when I used to be more online, I would get more notoriety, and it's a two-edged sword. One, there's something exciting about people knowing you who just from watching you, and then the other side is your privateness and being able to just be private and not be someone that sticks out. And as much as it's an interesting thing in my life, as much as I enjoy my private life, I know God is calling me to share my voice in many things. I don't know who my voice is going to be for, and what I'm sharing is who that's going to be for. But all I can do is trust the things that I don't see, and that's where, again, I lean into God and lean into vision. And this is where I think of me being a father, and why my kids look up to me, and why I like to mentor children, is because I see things that they don't. Mainly because, I'm a lot more mature and experienced than them, and they trust me on these kind of things. And so they ask me for permission, they trust me, they talk with me, they enjoy life with me, and this is one of the reasons I love children. So there's not a bunch of trauma attached, there's not a bunch of, it's meeting people that didn't have parents in their life, or, kids without dads is a common thing, and it's such a detriment to society and to humanity in general. And a big part of me was here to fight for all those dads out there, and to not only be a father for your own children, but to be a father for children that aren't yours. And I know that's going to be hard to swallow for a lot of people, but all kids are very important in this life, and all children deserve a loving father figure, just like we all deserve God in our life. Someone to guide us and nurture us and get us through the hard points in life. Because without that, what do we have? I mean, I guess we're just left to the wilderness. And the wilderness it's a way of life, but it's more of definitely an independent way of life. I mean, you look at the lions and the hyenas of the savannah, you look at anything out here in nature to see how it fends by itself. I don't think humans were meant to be by themselves. They were meant to work together. And but the price of life is free will, and sometimes, in society, it's just, we're not here to force anything. We're just let it to flow. So, okay. Well, this video I can see is going to get longer than I want. So, that's enough said for today. And I look forward to sharing more and inspiring those that are fighting any kind of depression or anything like that right now. Get out, get moving. Get into a fitness group, get into a routine, force yourself into a class. Start it small, a couple times a week, 3 times a week if you can. Don't go out sprinting or you're gonna end up walking. I mean, movement is better than nothing, but if you wanna get moving on something, start small, start moving. And I'm here supporting you, I'm here fighting it with you. It's not easy, I have rainstorms almost daily right now. But we will get through this together. Okay, bye for now.